welcome back to another edition of the Still Save Show, where we sit down with some of the dopest people who have some of the coolest and most inspiring stories of change and transformation you have ever heard. And boy, do I have a story for you today. Or maybe several stories, I don't know.
A lot of stories.
Listen, you've been around the block. It's not because you're old. I'm just saying.
I done cut off the grades for today, bro.
Marcus, man. Marcus, thank you so much, bro, for inviting me out, dog.
Celebratory handshake.
Listen. Where are we, dog? This is pretty dope.
Wow, we are in, and you guys will they'll get it later. But this is the Grand Imaging Podcast Haven pre-edition, right? And I mean, as we're doing this now, we're still building out. Painters gonna be walking through here. You got people moving furniture. So this is the beginning, man. The beginning of some. Hopefully, God can just really bless to be Houston's premier spot for podcasting.
Yeah.
So,
and I think you're the perfect vessel for that type of initiative, bro. Like, you've been in this communication world for a very, very long time, and you haven't just been in it, but you've been excelling in it. It's one thing to be in it, bro, but it's another thing to be doing it at a very high level, which you have been doing, bro. Like, I mean, you've been tell me this, man, because some of the places that you've been able to, some of the doors you've been able to walk through. Like, where are some of those places? Like,
okay, so I'll start by saying, I just said we're in Houston, right?
Yep.
I'm not even from Houston, but I've been here and I've been so successful in Houston. I feel like I'm a Houstonian.
I mean, we rock with you. Like, that's all that matters.
But my career, I came here for college.
Yeah.
And my career.
What school?
U of H.
All right, go Cougs. Come on,
I played football at U of H. That's how I got here.
I went there for a semester.
Yeah?
I still claim it.
Yeah, that's the school, right?
Yeah.
I tell people, the good thing about what U of H did for me was coming from Memphis, bro, everything was still, and I know this is not like in the 50s or the 60s, but it was so black and white at home, right?
Yeah.
You just hung around who you hung around. And then I got to Houston, and a lot of people will still say, slow, loud, and banging. Like, it's slowed down here, but compared to where I'm from, this was fast paced.
Really?
Oh yeah. And so I got to Houston and I got exposed to diversity.
Yeah.
And just Fortune 500 companies. That stuff didn't exist in Memphis. It's still bare. And I know somebody's gonna be in the comments like, Memphis got it. Yeah. No, Memphis is a hub city, if you ask me, right?
Okay.
And this is how I explain Memphis. The girl you date graduates from high school and she works at the bank and you go work at a warehouse. Or everybody go work for FedEx.
Yeah.
Right? And so I call it the hub city. And if you drive around Memphis to this second, the inner city of Memphis, it's a lot of mom and pops. From car dealerships to farmers, everything's mom and pop, and there's not a lot of Fortune 500s. I get here and they're everywhere. Yeah, and so I was just like, wow. And then I didn't realize you can have friends and learn people of different cultures. So yeah.
Nah, man, but I appreciate you inviting me out here, man. A lot of people don't let you into their space until it's done.
Yeah.
But you was like, hey, bro, like, the studio's available. We're gonna have painters in the back.
Yeah.
There might be a couple knocks on the door.
Yeah.
But it just
available,
goes to
kinda.
Yeah. Right. So I'm happy and excited to be one of the first people in this space. It shows a lot about your character too, your transparency, right?
Yeah.
Like, to be able to invite people into an unfinished product.
Yeah.
Right, that God is still working on.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
For sure, absolutely.
And I see a lot of that in your life, man. But do me a favor, bro, because I know you, and I've been a fan for years. I've looked up to you, your career, as somebody who has dabbled in this space. I'm like, man, I watch your interviews as a student, right?
Yeah.
But if you were to meet somebody on the street, man, and have to introduce yourself, like, how would you do that?
Okay. How you doing? I'm Marcus Sullivan, aka Memphis. I still go by Memphis. So a lot of people might even see this in the comments and go, "Oh, Memphis!" Right?
Yeah.
So when I first got here, being from Memphis, like I just said, I went by the name Memphis. So I would introduce myself as Marcus Sullivan now. And if somebody said, "Who are you? What do you do?" I would say I'm a 20 plus year media vet. Right. My claim to fame. And I challenge my media constituents right here. I've been in more media outlets in Houston than any of the current media people in the city right now, legend or not.
Yeah.
I'm talking, and
So
I'm
you
not
like the LeBron James of me.
bro. You said it, no, but no, seriously, and this is real talk, and I'm gonna
In
ask
terms
for,
of how many teams he's played for.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly. I'm about to run them, and I'm gonna say this before I run the teams. I'm not calling nobody out, but this would be a challenge, right? Find another person in the city actively doing media, whether it's podcasting, radio, or TV, or film, whatever.
You've done it both. You've done them all.
Who has done it at more media outlets than me in the last 25 years, right?
Yeah.
That's adding the legend Funky Larry Jones,
Come on.
the legend Mad Hatter, the superstar Kiati, the J-Mac, the radio legend, Candy Eastman.
Yep. You know, that's my girl.
And if I dive back, Nate, if I just started diving in, Isaiah Carey, just who has done it in more media outlets? And let me run these media outlets. I started radio. My first day of radio was 9/11. That was my first day.
Yeah.
Walking into a radio station was 9/11.
Dog, how
right?
you like
as an bright-eyed intern?
Walk into crisis.
Coat
Like, you know what I'm saying?
coat too big, tie long, whatever, baggy era.
Yep.
And
I was still in high school, by the way.
bro,
Just you know, getting
bringing the age into this thing, right? But that day was, you know, in the back, and it wasn't everything run to Google and find out. Everything wasn't streaming. And I remember the Guy Lambert, he was like, yo, welcome to radio. You're going to be in this back room, find some content for us to talk about on the radio. And so I'm looking for content on the radio, and come on. I'm looking for content on the radio, and I come back, I'm like, it's nothing. It's early in the morning. And I'm like, well, there's a plane that hit a building in New York. I don't know. And then, you know, fast forward, that continues to happen. But I started at Power 97.5. I worked there for 2 or 3 years. I come back from 97.5, and I go to 104.1 KRBE.
Yep.
I leave
dang, I didn't
104.1.
realize you was-
Yeah, I was there 9 months as a board op, like in the background. I go from there. I go to Party 104.9, which was Univision, right? Black guy at Univision, right? And then Party 104.9 changes over to Party 93.3, right? We're at 4.
Okay.
I leave 93.3 and I go to Praise 92.1, my first stint with Radio 1. Met a lot of amazing people over there, right? I think I was over there for 5 years.
That's the fam.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna put an asterisk by this because I was never really part of the team, but I board opped, and I filled in a few times on 97.9.
Yep.
Right? Praise goes out, News 92 shows up.
Yep.
We're at 7. I sent a tweet out on the day of the Boston bombing, and Fox found me because of a tweet. I leave radio. Those were 7 radio stations.
Okay.
I leave radio and I go over to Fox 26, and I'm a digital content / sports reporter guy.
So we at 8.
I work at Fox for 4.5 years. I leave Fox and I go to 93.7 The Beat.
Yep.
And I'm over there. I leave 93.7 The Beat, and I go to where I currently am now, which is Christian radio at NGEN Radio.
So 10.
10. But I work for the Texans.
Come on.
I work for the Rockets.
Come on.
And I had a dozen internships. I interned with Miramax Films and all of that. So I've been in
Hold
media.
on, but you done stuff for TMZ too, right?
Yeah,
like
so
being a
yeah,
correspondent.
but
I've seen-
the reason I did say TMZ is because it's not here, but
Okay,
I do correspond for TMZ currently.
Yeah.
I currently do that at the same time as doing Christian radio.
Dog.
So back to the beginning of this. Let's challenge if it can be done in a good way. Who has been in more media outlets in Houston?
Now, okay. So I can hear the naysayers.
Okay.
Oh man, he bounces around too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? But my thing is, you have served at each one of those assignments in those seasons, and you've served well.
For those who say that,
yeah.
I've never been fired.
Let's go.
I've never
Let's
been
go.
every spot I left on my own. But here's for the naysayers. You know how hard it is to do Christian radio, mainstream radio,
Anything Christian these days.
right? Work at a pop station,
Yep.
work at a news station, work in TV. Like, you know how much of a chameleon you have to be able to fit? Because radio is like TV. You can get typecasted. He's a hip hop person.
Yep.
He's a gospel guy, right?
Yeah.
I've been in TV, conservative TV, Christian radio, pop radio, hip hop radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I honestly, I thank God for all of that. And I've always tried to tell the next generation behind, be able to be a person that can do multiple things, right?
Yeah.
Creating a podcast or whatever. Don't be the person that you can only do gossip or tea, or you can only do politics. Be able to do sports. Be able to do everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I saw that you mentioned some of those roles you had to do multiple things.
Absolutely.
Like it was like, hey, I did board op, I went and got coffee, I did this, I did that.
All
you know
of-
what I'm saying?
all of that.
I filled in, I did it all.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope, man. That's super, super dope. And now here we are
Yeah.
at the BlessedBeatz headquarters.
Yes.
I don't know if that's what you're gonna call it or not, but you know what I mean? Like this is gonna be amazing. But before we dive into all that, bro,
Okay.
you have done some remarkable things, right? You've blazed trails, you've set trends, you know what I mean? Like you have shifted the culture.
Shift the culture,
You know,
man.
no
Yes.
pun intended.
Yeah.
You're man, truly an inspiration. But it hasn't always been this glamorous, like, silver slippers, the road paved with gold, bro. Take me back, man.
And it's still not. It's still not glamorous.
It's still not.
No, it's still,
like, don't get it
no,
twisted.
and one of my good mentors, Anthony Valerie, has always said,
Come on,
yo, when it's time to go put the silver, to be in front and shake hands and sign autographs and take pictures, didn't do that. But when it's time to work, yo, put the worker's hat on and get busy, right? So
that is so indicative of his work ethic.
yeah, that guy.
Like,
Shout
I
out
don't know
to him.
nobody else that works as hard as he
Yeah,
does.
shout outs to that dude. But like you were saying, man, if I go back to the dark days, bro, I put out, it was pandemic year, I put out a 31-day devotional. I had just came off of COVID. I was locked down for 2.5 weeks like air, and I did a 31-day devotional. And I went back and I grabbed my mentors, and my mentors all did a chapter or a interlude into the book. And my mom actually did one, and she was telling the story about how it was when I was in college, right? And she actually said in that it was times that she would be at home crying because I had already went further than anybody in my family, so there was no help for me, right? Like, we're all reaching back to something, or I can call uncle and he'll tell me at this point, and at this time I'm 19, nobody in my family had ever went that far, right?
Yeah.
And so she even told a story about, man, after post-football career, me and my roommates were living on the north side of Houston, and I vividly remember my car being repoed, right? Because I was trying to do this radio thing, and anybody that's jumping in the podcast, TV, radio game, listen, it ain't glitz and glamour in the beginning. And the beginning is a long time, right?
Shoot, the middle ain't glitz and glam either.
I
You
mean,
know
for
what I'm
people
saying?
thinking I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna be a star, and there's $1 million check and sponsorships.
Nah, man.
Everybody ain't LeBron, right? And my story is not that, man. And so going into that story, graduate from college, 2 college degrees.
Yeah.
Right? 2 college
Oh,
degrees.
yeah, you're supposed to be set.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get the
set
job,
mark.
the benefits, the 401k.
I just told you my first day of radio was 9/11, and that was an internship for 9 months after college.
Yeah.
Intern means
Oh, yeah. We all know.
free, right? Fast forward.
Radio knows how to get work out of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gonna work for free. That's why people that want to come around here, we working for free. That helped me.
Listen, I ain't got no endorsements yet.
Right.
You feel
but
me?
you putting
So-
in the work,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I remember when I got hired after that 9-month period, which that's how long it takes to birth something, right? The first job, 2 college degrees. Get ready. $6.50 an hour. I could have went to Sonic. No diss to him. I could have went to Walmart. I could have went 2 college degrees, 6 years of college,
Man.
$6.50 an hour.
Dang.
So God is like, do you really want this, right?
Right,
And so imagine your best friend gets out of college and he's a pharmacist. They start at 6 figures. They start at 6 figures, right? You get to the right pharmacy, you're paid, right? Another friend is managing money. He's a business finance person,
Yep.
right? And I come out 2 degrees, $6.50 an hour. Marcus, do you really want this, right? Is it about fame or is it about money? Is it about, what is this about? You can go to Walmart and get this. You don't have to. And we're all roommates, right? So we're in charge of, us 19, 20, 21 years old. We got to pay bills now. College is over, right?
Right.
And so now my friendships are being tested because, they got their portion.
Man.
We're laying the rent check down on the first of the month. The last person lay the check down, you go pay the rent. And Marcus ain't got no rent check, right? Marcus' car get repoed. Marcus got everybody about to get evicted, right? Because
Ooh.
now I remember my best friend, one of my best friends to this day. I remember him coming downstairs, and he had the do-rag on and the white beater, coming home from his corporate job.
Yeah, I know what era this was.
And he was a finance person, a business person. He had wrote all out, and he showed me, bro, you owe me this. This is your best friend. This is the dude you kicked it with in college, right? And I had nothing, bro. And it's like, I vividly remember trying to do this radio thing and getting evicted. And at the time, another best friend of mine, now fraternity brother, we weren't even frat, moved me out of my apartment with his Ford Explorer, 1998. You remember that model? Go Google that model. And we're driving down 290 with the mattress on the roof. I'm holding one side, he's holding the other, and stuck it in the storage, and I slept on his couch for a month.
Yeah.
I can go get a job. Bro, I can go get a job. This is not economy now. It's jobs everywhere.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to do this thing God called me to do. You know what I mean? And so, bro, I stuck that out. Again, I can't call home and ask mama for no money. Nobody. I'm from the ground. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you got a degree. You're in front of everybody in your generation.
What does that say? You've gone to school for all these years. You put in this work, and now here I am having to basically crawl back home almost with your tail between your legs.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
to this day, and I'm good now. I still tell my mom, the goal is to not come home. The goal is to
not because I don't love you.
Yeah, I'm going home for the holidays,
course,
but the goal is.
Of course, let's set the record straight.
Worst case scenario, house burned down, lose everything. I can go home and lay on the couch and get it right. But that ain't the goal. The goal is, man, show mom what she did for those years, and I'm out. Now let me go ahead and pay for your car note. Let me go. You know what I'm saying? So that was that story. But bro, it was like that was a test to where, man, I've seen people come in this game and go. Because you come in for either looking for fame or you're looking for money.
Yeah.
In this game of media, you have to really you have to be a student of the game. You really got to have a love for this thing.
So what shifted, bro? Like, cause evicted, car repoed, you ain't got no transportation, and you live in Houston. Like, you live in Houston, of all places.
You can do the bus system, but it's gonna be real hard. Uber didn't work.
Listen,
Uber wasn't
for all
allowed.
y'all who want to come to Houston, you need a car.
Yes,
all right, you need a car, and it's hot.
Yeah.
But no car, evicted, staying on your partner's couch. Like, what happened next? Like, what popped, or did something pop, or was it? What was the series of next steps? You know what I'm saying?
It's funny. Nobody's ever asked me what happened after that.
Look, I've been there, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reason why I'm asking you.
Yeah.
I've been in them situations where it's like, dang, I don't know when the next check is gonna come. Where I got more month than money, and the expenses far outweigh the income.
Bro.
Like, I've had cars repoed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you said that, I was like, God, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I know, bro. It's not like, okay, all this happens. It's not like The Pursuit of Happiness.
Nah.
When you get this 1 hour and 30-minute movie, and at the end, it's a celebration.
Well, I'm still waiting on the celebration.
You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, it's good now, but
yeah.
And I'm glad you asked me what happened, because that just jogs my memory to not even get emotional about it. But dude, I stayed on my eventual fraternity brother's couch for a month.
Yeah.
You know, trying to stack my cash. And I ended
That's
up
why
moving.
we so comfortable, right? That's why you hugging that pillow.
I feel like I'm at home, right? I'm back at home, right? But no, I stayed there for a month.
Yeah.
Stacking what I could. And then I moved in to another apartment. And I know we're worldwide, but people in Houston know Dunvale and Westheimer,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right?
yeah, I know
I moved
exactly
into some apartments
there
over
used to
there.
be a movie theater over there.
Yes, yes. I moved in over there, and then
because you're still making what, $6 an hour?
Yeah. So I had stacked enough to even go over there. But bro, after that, I dove so far into my craft.
Yeah.
At the time, I was at, I want to say it was I still was at Power 97.5. And Anthony Valerie, who we just brought up, he had a Sunday morning show called The Power Praise Party.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. Google it, people. And my internship was up. I'm making $6 an hour. I'm sorry, when I was making the $6 an hour, I was in promotions.
Yep.
Driving the van, popping the tents, carrying the speakers. I was promotions. And he had nobody to go out. He had nobody to go out on Sunday mornings, right? And so he asked me, do you want to work a Sunday morning shift as far as promotions? And I go, yeah, I need the hours, bro.
Look, I work a Sunday night if you need me to. Nah.
Sunday mornings, I come up to the radio station, and he's doing his Sunday show. And I had never heard anybody doing church music like he was doing it, right? This wasn't Christian hip-hop. He was Reverend Anthony Valer, right? Yeah. And so he said, man, I'm going to put you out on the streets, driving the station truck. And instead of going to the clubs and promoting like a regular promotions person would do, I want you, he actually said this. He said, man, I want you to listen to J-Mac on 97.9. We were at Praise 92.1. He goes, on Saturday night, I want you to listen to J-Mac. And I hope J-Mac watches this, because I stole it from you, bro. Nah, he says, listen to him. And this is how he said it. Whatever he says on Saturday night, when you go to these churches, you go say the same thing in a Christian way.
Wow.
And I go, what?
Because you know J-Mac say some wild stuff.
Wait, that's today. Oh, imagine when it wasn't as a sensitive time, right?
Yeah.
So I'll never forget, he used to go, I don't know if this club is still around, he used to be at Metropolis. J-Mac Metropolis, right? This is a true story.
Oh, yeah, we all remember, man.
Yeah. Is that still a club?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
So he used to be at Metropolis, and he would get on the air. And I remember even being in college, back then, that's how we would find out what was popping. We would listen to the radio and hear the guy be like, man, the ladies are out in the line, and that is around the corner, and it's going down tonight, but drinks free, that whole thing. And so I would listen on Saturday night, and he would go in and be like, ladies free till, drinks this, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, how do I say that in a Christian way? Sunday morning, I'd pull up to at the time, one of the most popping churches in Houston was Fountain of Praise. It was booming in higher dimension. These churches were growing. Mm-hmm. And I would pull up, and AV would set me up, and I would literally be on the cell phone, and he would say, go. Give me 30, 60 seconds, and I would be like, yo, it's Memphis 10. I'm out here at Fountain of Praise. Church services at 11. Y'all come through. It's bananas over here.
Ladies lined up around the building.
Same thing he would say. Bro, the radio airways started going crazy because people would be like, AV, I want him at my church.
Yeah.
And so, bro, that turned into me every Sunday going to different churches. And so back when I was saying, I really dove into that craft, bro, that was the first time I remember being at the radio station so much that I fell in love with radio. Yeah. Like you fall in love with a person. If I wasn't at the radio station, I was hard. Like I remember sitting at home watching TV and being like, man, I'm just gonna be around. I need to breathe this. And I just dove myself in, and that turned into the next job and the next job.
Yeah, it's crazy. A lot of people say that that's the most effective way to learn a language too, immersion.
Yeah.
You know, like you can go to school. I took like 2-3 years of Spanish in high school. I don't remember
none of it. Right.
Now, mind you, I sat next to the pretty girl and you know, had her helping me out. But, you know, you can get an app or do this course or read a textbook, but they say immersion. A lot of my Spanish-speaking friends say that the best way to do it is to just watch the stories, listen to the music, read the magazines, or get lost in a predominantly Spanish-speaking country, you know, and that's the best way to learn is to immerse yourself in the culture, in the language. And that's what I hear when it comes to you in radio. Yeah. It was like you had hit the bottom pretty much in terms of...
Had nowhere else to go.
Had nothing else to do but show up to the radio station.
And then I told myself this at the time. I was like, bro, you went to school for 6 years for this.
Ain't no way I'm finna fail.
I'm not changing this.
Yeah. I didn't invest in too much.
I'm not finna go work for NASA. Y'all, I tried to do this media thing. This is what it is. And so there was no going back for me from that.
Yeah. Man, that's bananas, bro. Tell me this though, because you know you share with me the eviction, the repo, like that'll take a toll on your mental, dog. Like that'll start to, you know, that'll have anybody questioning whether or not what they're doing is the right thing. Right. It's almost like, man, you start hitting so many roadblocks. It's like I don't know, man. I think it's about time to about face and reconsider this whole radio thing. You've mentioned though several times that this was like the thing. This was the thing that was calling you. Yeah. Like why? You know what I'm saying? Like why radio? Like why was it? You've mentioned the calling. You said it was like a passion. Like,
Yeah.
why were you so passionate about this to the point to where you would allow yourself to go broke? You know what I'm
Bro,
saying?
you hear the stories. You hear the stories often about people who become great at something, right? And I honestly believe that we all have a real life purpose, all of us, right? And when people say, "Man, I don't know what my purpose is," and I heard this, seen this maybe on the Instagram reel or something. Man, your purpose is that thing that you could do with your eyes closed, that you absolutely love. You would actually do it for free. Right?
Yeah.
That's like the thing that you can step on the court and start shooting. Like no stretching, no warm-up line. I'm here to do this. Right? Not I can make some money doing it. Or, man, I seen somebody else balling at this, I'm about to try it, right? Because if you notice those things, man, you try it,
Dog.
you fail bad. Or, I mean, you could be successful, but I remember when I got into TV and I had to be a reporter. And it was like, yo, I have to act like a reporter.
You mean you had to have the voice? You got
set
to have
up.
the posture.
Yeah,
You know
hold
what
the
I'm saying?
mic. Yeah,
Yeah.
and not that I wasn't good at it. I was great at it. You got a check out of it, right? But I have to act. I had to act like a TV reporter.
Man.
When it comes to radio or media, just like personality, no stretching.
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm a personality. You know what I mean?
Right.
I actually put myself to sleep thinking about this is my purpose, right? And like for me, one of my motivating factors, and I had to forgive this lady, and I don't even know her name, right? My second grade teacher, right? I did a story time on Reel one time, and I talked about this. My second grade teacher, never will forget, in Memphis. Remember I said it was black and white. It was kind of second grade teacher. I don't even know her name, bro. Called me to the front of the classroom and told the kids, I grew up with a speech impediment.
Yeah.
Lazy tongue, stammer, stutter, all of that. Like that was me. And to this day, I'm still an introvert and people don't believe that. And I think that's probably why, right? But called me to the front of the class, told me to say T words, S words, and I couldn't. Talk like this, right? And that hurt me so bad, bro. It made me not want to talk. Wow. But as God would have it, that was my fuel, right?
Really?
Bro, you put me in front of a class of second graders and you make fun of second graders? Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah,
I was going down.
What kind of adult does that?
Bro, it's going down. And so
I could see if it was an environment where she was trying to get you to overcome.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
She
hey,
asked,
let's
her words were, this is how you not talk. If you talk like this, your career, you could be a garbage man, you could be you know what I mean? I remember this. Bro, as God would have it, now I get a chance to wake up every morning and talk to the masses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you don't, but hold up. Because you don't have the speech impediment now, right? And we've all heard the stories of Moses, right? And how similar.
Everybody says it,
Yeah, because it is what it is. Like, he didn't want to be God's mouthpiece because he said he stuttered. And so God was like, all right, you know what? You don't want to do it? I'm going to give you Aaron. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Everybody says that.
But look. But you clearly communicate very, very well.
Yeah.
Was that something that you had to work extra hard at? Like harder than maybe your other counterparts?
Yeah, okay. Was an athlete, so it didn't really matter. I thought football.
Okay.
Well,
you say it like it's just like we just supposed to know, bro.
Houston,
like
I mean, you know what I'm saying? No.
It could have been golf, dog. Like
football, right? So I was supposed to go pro. No. What we all, right?
Listen, you asked me, bro. I was supposed to be in the NBA, dog.
You out of there, right?
Oh, bro, I was shooting out the lights.
So you found out they all 6'8", right? Nah. But no, so football was the ticket.
Yeah.
Great athlete. And I didn't care nothing about nothing else. I'm playing pro ball. When that didn't happen, college got for real, life got for real. So I was like, what am I going to do? And again, like you said, immersion. And when I picked communications, it was like, nah, you're gonna take the speech classes, you're gonna take the acting classes, you're gonna take the playwriting classes,
It wasn't just I'm gonna take the radio class. You said acting, speech, literature.
You got to become this thing, right? And bro, and I'm gonna give you the exercise. In acting 1 and playwriting 1, every day we went through pedicab.
Yep.
See, say so. E-ow. Like every day.
Bringing back memories, dog.
To work your enunciation and get better at the craft. And that exercise, I still sometimes do it when I'm hungry, tired, if I'm driving in the car, just to work it, right?
Yeah.
And here we are. And that's how I overcame that, bro.
No, that's dope, man. I remember my theater. Theater was such a transformative season in my life.
Yeah.
It was my senior year in high school. I did it on accident. I took theater as a blow-off course, and turns out that I was kind of okay. Like I was a clown in class, and so my theater director was like, "All right, look, we're not finna let him disturb the class. What we're gonna do is you're gonna either try out for this play, or I'm gonna fail you." So of course I'm like, all right. I thought this,
What play was it?
So the first play. The funny thing is, everybody already knows I grew up, Southwest Alief, Texas, right? Elsick High School. So predominantly African American community. I was the only white guy in the theater. I think there was like another kid too. But the role that we did, it was Miss Evers' Boys, right? Which took place in like the 50s and segregation.
Yeah.
There was only one white role, and I think that's the reason why they casted me.
Got him.
So, but we had to learn all those techniques, bro, like the A, E, I, O, U.
Yeah.
She used to teach us things like if you're on stage, you use your voice as a weapon and you try to shoot it all the way to the
back,
end,
yeah.
all the way to the back,
Yeah.
project, enunciate, articulate. And so that helped me as a DJ, as a host.
Yes.
I became a really, really good wedding MC. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
I was like I'm that guy in the city.
Okay.
And I say a lot, but that's just me. Like I have given up on that.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
see.
because you're comfortable in that space.
Yeah,
right now.
like we'll see. Like I might try to overcome the ums, but theater, bro, like really changed the game for me.
People underestimate theater.
Well, they underestimate how much of our and this can be looked upon as a bad thing because people are always like, oh, you got to show up as yourself. But to some degree, we're all acting. When we go on job interviews, we go on dates,
all of that.
Now, I'm not saying be fake, but to some degree, you have to, put your best foot forward.
I was gonna say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's your highlight.
You gotta show up.
Yeah.
It's a show.
Yeah.
And I like that part. Not to the point to where you show up as somebody different. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But still act like yourself.
Yeah.
And it takes energy. It takes
a heightened version of yourself.
Yeah. It takes intentionality, I think.
Yeah. I agree.
To make that shift, man. How has that affected? Because now we're talking about the come up, right?
Yeah.
And overcoming the speech impediment, the techniques and the theories. Do you ever still get subconscious? And because you seem pretty confident, like you said, you got the introvert thing going on.
Social media, bro.
Oh.
Social media is very hard because again, we're talking about acting, right? Man, on your gram, on your reel, you scroll past this one, it's the next person putting their best foot forward, right? And your best foot forward might be where I'm striving to be, right? Yeah. Or where you are now is when people say it's levels to this, right?
Yeah.
You see your peers doing stadiums, right? You see somebody's podcast popping. You see, and so you go, man, what am I doing? I'm not good enough. Like, but as God would have it, and I tell people all the time, you are good enough. Your idea is good enough for somebody.
Yeah.
Right? And so, yes, we're striving to be at the top of that ladder. But what about the people that are trying to get to, like right now, I can talk to the people who are $650 an hour. That's, like, I probably can't impress Kevin Hart. Like, right? He like, well, I did that, right?
Yeah.
But there's somebody that I can talk to and be like, I want to be there. Right? And so I look at it like that, man. Like, let me influence the generation behind me. That person that's 2 steps below me, right?
Yeah.
Not brag and boast about what I got, which I have the thing about bragging and boasting. Sometimes you can use what you have to show people you too can get this, right? Versus, I got it.
Yeah,
I got the bag, whatever. But like you can show people, bro, I'm a dude from Memphis with a speech impediment. They got a morning show in his name. You know what I mean? And I'll gladly tell you, I trip out and I'll be like, God, I still trip out. I could be at the radio station, bro, and we could be looking like we're looking now and it'll be a mirror or something and I could see my reflection in that joint and I would trip out. You'd be like, why you just bust out laughing? And I'd be like, bro, I can't believe I'm here. I still think like that. 20 plus years in the game, I go, me?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'll even joke and I'll go, yo, little raggedy me, Mr. Evicted.
Come on.
People want to take a picture with you? Nah, bro. It still tripped me out.
Yeah, we're gonna take some pictures before we leave. I'm just saying,
Sure.
I still want to take pictures.
Yeah, let's get it in. Let's get it in.
But man, it's wild because it just goes to show you that God's grace is sufficient. You know, even in our weakness, especially in our weaknesses, which is why we boast, even more in our weaknesses, because you can't take credit for that, bro.
Nah.
You can't sit up here and stand on that stage and be like, me, Marcus, I did that. Like Coach Carter, I tied that. You know what I'm saying? Like, now, granted, that doesn't take away from the grind. I think it's both in, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
You clearly put in 10,000 plus hours. You put in the work, but that work was fueled by your faith.
Absolutely. And for those people, I'm glad you went there, because we men of faith, right? We're on kingdom assignment, and it's good for the Christian audience to watch this and see the story of faith. But what about that person who straddled that fence or don't even believe, and we're bringing it up? And so for those people who are weak in their faith, or doubters, or I need to be convinced, or when what you just said, bro, let's like. And I wouldn't even give you the Christianese. Somebody asked me, I'm gonna be like, bro, it was not me.
Come on.
Like, I ain't supposed to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I know where I'm from. Bro, I tell people, one of my chores growing up was to clean the mice off the trap. That was not a chore. I wash the dishes every day.
Take the trash out.
Every day.
Yeah.
My chore was today, just like yesterday, and tomorrow you'll be cleaning mice off the trap. That's where I come from. Man. Right? And so I try to tell people, like, you don't believe it's a God? Like, you don't believe it's something bigger than you that you need to give reverence to? Because, bro, it wasn't me. Right? I know, like you said, I put in the work, I put in the grind, I put in the sacrifice and all of that. But at the end of the day, if you're not praying to something or seeking guidance from God, or and your words, something above, whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, you lost.
It's like, man, it's like an added bonus, bro.
Yeah.
Like, because granted, there are people who can work their way to certain successes. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen, secular folks achieve mass amounts of wealth and quote unquote blessings. Like, it can be done in the natural. Certain things, right?
Somebody has to open the door.
There are certain blessings in life, though, bro.
Yeah.
That I don't care how hard you work, which is why I wake up every day, and I'm so grateful that God has put me in this position, because I'm like, man, my work can only take me so far.
Yeah. Somebody got to open the door to let your gift and your talent show. Like, somebody got to open the door. Somebody got to sign Matthew Knowles as Destiny's Child. Somebody got to. She didn't walk out the house and you're Beyonce.
Yeah.
Somebody had to open the door, right? Somebody had to sign LeBron to a contract. Nobody does it, but that's when I say, when you start saying, man, I did this by myself. No, you was blessed.
Yeah. Yep.
It could have been somebody else. So.
Or the preparation takes place and then God gives you the opportunity, right?
Facts.
He prepared you in the dark room, right, by yourself.
Yeah.
And, you go through the evictions and you go through that testing your character, because, that hardships proves our character and perseverance and all that good stuff. And then now when the opportunity presents itself, he knows he can trust you with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He knows that he can trust you with that microphone to be able to say what you got to say. Like them prayers in the morning, bro. Them prayers in the I tune in for the kid. Like, I take the kids to school and I'm like, I know I don't feel like praying today. That's all right. Marcus got me.
You know what's so crazy about those prayers, bro?
Yeah.
Bro, I'm 2 years into praying out loud.
Yeah.
People walked up to me in the grocery store at events and be like, yo, your prayer, like you just said, your prayers, bro. I crack up into that. That's funny to me.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, bro. I was the dude who would be like, all right, I know I'm at my house, and I know Thanksgiving is at my house, so they're going to ask me to lead the prayer. Let me practice this all week. Lord, what am I going to say? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say amen.
It's got to be perfect. It's got to be perfectly crafted.
Or I would be the dude, and I'm like, don't ask me to pray.
Yep.
Oh, excuse me, I got to go. Like, I'm not that guy. I used to be afraid of praying out loud. And then I said, what you said earlier, immersion, bro.
Yeah.
I said the only way I get over that is to dive into it. Start praying out loud every day. I don't care how corny you sound. You don't have to have the right elegance or the words or you ain't got to. Just start talking, right? Open your mouth and let God do the rest, right? He know what you're going to say anyway. He know what you're thinking anyway, right? And so I said, Marcus, you got to create a habit in praying. You got to make a habit of it if you want to be good at it, right? You got to do it over and over. So what do I do the most? And I said, in a day, I get in and out of a car more than I do anything. You wake up, you get out of the bed once. You get out of the bed once unless you take a nap, right?
Right.
But I get into a car and I get out of a car.
Get back into a car.
To go, like if I go somewhere, that's 4 times, like at least, right? And I said, every time I get in a car, I'm gonna pray. Every time I get out of a car, I'm gonna pray. And that led to like 8, 9, 10, 12 prayers a day out loud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So muscle memory. I'm shooting those shots, I'm getting them up there. And then George Floyd happens. Right? Man. World is at everybody beefing. And I took that opportunity. At the time, the morning show was fish grease hot. I said, man, we're gonna start praying at 7:45. This is your show. You gonna start praying. And I was just like, I get to pray on the radio. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. And I set that time, people would tune in, and bro, I would open my mouth and just start praying. And then I started being like, let me find stuff to pray about.
Yes, bro.
Finances and relationships and healing and then I
you started inviting other people to pray.
Pray.
With you,
And the lines would be crazy, like I'm giving away tickets.
Yes, dog.
You giving away concerts.
Because you are, bro. Like you are giving away something. You are giving away something that people can't take away, dog.
And so now I'm an advocate of prayer, and I'll tell somebody, yo, I'm not gonna pray, you gonna pray. Right? And they'll be like, no, you good at it. You like my oldest brother, he'll still call me and go, yo, send one up to the Lord for me. And I'm like,
we all got that partner like
he hear you too.
Yeah,
like,
probably better than you. Yeah.
And so
it's like that dude that try to holler at a girl. You know, like, hey man, go over there and holler at her for me, dog. Yeah. Like,
go tell her this. She hear you, right? But that has allowed me to encourage other people. No. Mm-hmm. You pray too. And so for you to say that, man, I so appreciate that. And I'm never gonna stop being a guy. One of my mottos: much prayer, much power. Yep. Little prayer, little power. No prayer, no power. Right? And so now it's like I champion prayer. Yeah. It could be about anything at any point in time. So yeah.
Can you give me an example of much prayer, much power? A story. It could be one of your own. It could be an example of maybe one of your listeners. A time where you have seen much prayer, much power alive.
I would say that story to this day, like I said at the beginning of this, I've been on radio 20 plus years, but this story stands out to me amongst them all because it happened in real time. Much prayer, much power, alive. And I call this story the Andrew story, right? Take your mind back to any job that you've had on a holiday weekend, 15 minutes before it's time to go. Okay. You ready to go. Your mind has been out an hour.
It don't even have to be a holiday weekend, bro. Like
the weekend, right? You ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
The morning show, 6 a.m. to 10 on a holiday weekend, but I had vacation set to try to make my time even longer. I think it was a Memorial Day weekend. One of these holiday 3-day weekends.
Monday was the
and
holiday,
then Tuesday through the next Friday, I'm gone anyway. So I was Friday. I'm ready. It was 9:52. I'll never forget this. I had one song left. Let's just say 3 minutes, right? Puts us at 9:55. I got 5 minutes left. And I'm supposed to sign off the air and be out. Sign off 30 seconds, play a song, take us right to 10 o'clock, we're done, right? And I got my backpack on. I done put the headphones up, music playing. I'm just waiting I'm waiting on the song to go down so I can say, have a good weekend, I'm out. That's what I'm waiting on. The phone starts ringing. Most of us ain't answering that phone.
That's what I was gonna say. Do you have to answer it?
I don't have to answer.
All right.
It's just ringing. Song is playing. I got to talk at the end of the song. And I'm like, all right. I answer the phone, and naturally, any good radio media person knows, record everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Record everything.
Sound like AV.
Yes, I learned that from him. So I answer the phone, and the guy goes, how you doing, Marcus? And I said, I'm good. Naturally, I go, how are you? Right? And he's like, I'm well. And then he goes into his piece. He starts talking about today is gonna be a good day. And I'm like, yeah, that's what this show is about. It's gonna be positive. This is my last song. Cool. And I'm thinking in radio mode, I ain't got time to even edit whatever's about to happen. I'm not even finna air this. I'm just gonna sound off the air. And he starts to, you can hear the buildup, the trembling voice.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he starts crying. And you can tell by the keywords that he was using, suicide was about to happen. I don't want to live no more starts coming out, and people gonna speak highly of me, and I just want people to remember those kind of keywords, right? And bro, song is winding down, maybe a minute left on the song, and I go, bro, as Christians, we always say, I'm praying for you, bro. And the Holy Spirit was like, nah, pray for him. Don't tell him you praying for him, pray for him. Much prayer, much power. And when I said, I'm like, yo, we could do this right now. He, full-grown man on the air, on the phone, crying. He just got quiet, and I said, let's just pray, right? I dragged the back song in to give me more time. So we go song to song.
Yep.
And there was maybe 4 more minutes. So, bro, I just started praying. And at the end of this call, the Holy Spirit said, tell him to repeat after you, right? I'm not a pastor. And so, bro, I prayed. We get to the amen. I said, repeat after me. It's already done. He bawling. Repeat after me. It's already done. Repeat after me. It's already done. So he says it once. And I tell him to say it again, and you can hear the confidence building into his voice, right? And then, bro, I just said, I told him, I go, bro, we are a family, and we will continue praying for you. He stops crying. We get off the phone. Song winds down. I just, no edit.
Yeah.
I just hit play on the recorder.
Yeah, yeah. You ain't clean up the little
Nah,
dead space,
let it go
the empty
as
air.
Nah,
like,
all of that. And I think it was maybe 4. It's like long as another song,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I let that play as my sign off. Bro, the phone started ringing. And people started calling. It's 10 o'clock. I'm out the door.
Yeah.
Friday, vacation. I'm answering every call. We're praying for Andrew. We're praying for Andrew. Oh my gosh, that's me. It was just, it touched so many people. Bro, that was prayer alive, because so many people was like, yo, I'm going through it too.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most instant, natural moments. Unacted, unmade up, unput your best break, sound like the as is. I'm talking about when you just said, you say a lot. I'm umming in the prayer.
Man, bro.
I don't know what to say to somebody. Bro.
Listen, I'm so H-Town, I might have been like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Like,
Bruh.
listen, Lord. Like,
I'm not a therapist. I ain't
Yeah,
a
bro.
pastor. I ain't. And at that moment, I got a dude on the phone. You can clearly hear today is about to go down. Today, like he was on some, I hope they remember me. He was on some,
he wanted to get on the air.
I'm out of there.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Called it the Andrew call. And bro, to this day, I think NGEN uses that call to actually point out our mission assignment. It's to give people hope, give people inspiration. And I know that's my assignment. To this day, no matter what I do with media and all of this cool stuff,
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
it's to give people more hope. I don't care what it's in, right? I might get hope, make you want a podcast, get a media, cool. But if I can give somebody hope through my representation of what kingdom looks like, because again, we were talking about the non-believers or whatever. A lot of people, think of church as church robe, Dr. King fan, whatever. I had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
But
That's that Memphis.
bro, I know, right? But this is kingdom.
Yeah, bro.
We look like heaven right now. What heaven's supposed, tattoos and all, right? Like, if we can represent what the kingdom's supposed to look like, I think more people will come over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then, again, we don't have to act. We don't have to be judged. Yo,
Yeah.
you got so many flaws. I got so many flaws.
Bro.
But if somebody can say, man, God's shining on that dude.
Yeah.
With his flaws.
With the flaws.
Let's go.
That's why I'm so quick to share some of the experiences I've gone through.
Yeah.
Not to brag or to dramatize the negative, but it's just like, yo, if he could really take somebody as wretched as me somebody as unprofessional, unskilled.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many uns in my life.
Yeah,
There's
boy.
so many obstacles that I had to overcome just to survive.
Right.
Not to mention thrive, bro. It's like there has to be a God. There's no other explanation, for it, bro. It's not because of my degrees. It took me 12 years to get a freaking bachelor's. You know what I'm saying? It's
You was longer than me.
Listen, bro, like it's not because of my grind.
Right.
It's not because I'm smart. It's not because I'm handsome or any of these other things. It's not because I'm white. It's not because of any of this other stuff, bro. Like, it was just because God saw fit. And I decided to accept the call.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You and your raggedness, come here.
Man, that story right there just reminds me of why we do this.
Yeah.
You know, again, it's not because we wanted to create some flashy podcast and get these subscribers and these numbers. I ran from this, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times.
You the truth, bro.
Nah, man, chill out, man. I literally ran from it, but it's like there's something about, we talked about this before we got started. Like, it's like God is continuing to tell his story. It's like the Bible to be continued.
Yeah.
You know, we always hear all the time, we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. That's great. We got the blood of Jesus. We signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah.
He just stamped us. We on our way to heaven.
Yeah.
But it's not just by the blood of the Lamb. We overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony.
Bro, you said you ran from it.
Oh, here go that interview.
Nah,
I knew he was gonna ask the question. I knew he was gonna.
But you ran from it, and yet you are great at it. And for people watching this one, man, go watch some of these interviews you got like in the archive. I told you, I watched you, bro. I'm watching your stuff.
I've been studying you for a minute.
Nah.
Like, I don't just watch you, bro. I study you.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think the only thing that I will credit is I show up. I show up. And I told myself, whether I'm paid or not paid, I'm going to keep doing this. I learned that from Toby. Yeah. Toby had committed himself to doing Get Twisted Sundays for like, I don't know, I think he said like 5 years. He's like, if I don't get paid a dime, he's like, I'm in this. I made a commitment to God.
Wow.
To do what he does. And look where it took him. The consistency.
Wow.
And, you know, if I don't get a dime from this, I'm gonna tell these stories. I feel like Luke or Matthew or Mark or Paul, like, this is my notepad. These are our epistles, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we're living epistles, and God is still crafting his story through you, through Andrew, through me, through the people who I sit next to. Like the way you said you were called to radio, bro. Like, I've been called to do this, whether anybody tunes in or not. Yeah. And
this joint gonna be huge, bro. More people need to see your work. And I mean, again, off the air, I'm asking you questions. Well, am I right? I'm asking you a lot of questions, bro. Yo, you called to do it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's all I can say, man. And I'm just grateful to be able to just kick it with folks like you, who I've looked up to and admired for many, many years.
Thank you.
You know, from BlessedBeatz to especially, you know, Marcus in the mornings. Yeah. Not just me, but like, think about it, it's generational too. I told you, bro, I put it on in the mornings so my kids can rock with it.
That's crazy.
So like,
thank you. Yeah.
Which you know, you're old, bro.
Our kids, yeah. Yeah.
But with that being said, bro, tell me this, because I ask everybody this before I wrap up. You know, secular or sacred. You know, this show allows me to. You know, I got that crossover game down packed. I could be sitting in front of somebody who's not in the church, sitting in front of somebody like yourself who's very familiar with church culture. Okay. But there's still an element of faith that we all need in order to be successful. Okay. You know, whether it's an entrepreneur or whatever the case is, everybody talks about taking risks, right? But in our world, we know what that means, right? Yeah. So for you, bro, like, how has your faith in God, like, anchored you, sustained you, but also propelled you to experience, like, what role has your faith played in your success?
That's so interesting you asked me that, because I'll tell people, yo, I went kicking and screaming.
Why is that always the case, dog?
Is that everybody?
With pastors, bro, like missionaries.
Don't compare me to no pastor. Dude, I say it every day. I'm not a pastor.
It's like Jonah, bro. Like,
I went kicking and screaming, bro, for this whole thing. I told you some of these stories. Like, I wanted to quit.
Yeah, come on, bro.
I mean, we're sitting in the next great production house for podcasting.
Yep.
Y'all been seeing painters and people walk around. This joint, it's
that
a
was
shell.
Intentional too, by the way. Like,
it's a shell right now. There's nothing going on right now here, right? But like, I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so thankful for my career, my job, and the people that I work for. But I go, man, it's more to me than just to be Marcus in the morning.
Yeah.
I can inspire more people through my gift of doing this because I ain't supposed to be here. So yeah, let me open up a studio and you two can come have a podcast, right? And so
what you've essentially done is multiplied yourself. You
Nice.
can only reach so many people as one person, but now you've created a hub, a headquarters where we can have multiple people with their own audiences that you probably wouldn't be able to touch.
I wouldn't even be able to touch, right?
Sorry, bro. I just had to
church boy, church boy, church
That's
boy.
that Dr. B in me.
But, but yeah, bro, like, yeah, my faith is strong because I actually believe in the power of what God can do through me. I actually believe in that, right? Meaning, again, we just talked about how minuscule or how little we are and how great we could do things. So my faith is, like, God will say, yo, go do this. And I'll go, I know it's going to work. It's been working from $6.50 an hour. I ain't never lost in this because I just been, he said do it, I'm going to do it, right? And then it's just like, man, this been working. My faith is, all right, God, I'm going to listen, but you're going to have to push me through this door because it ain't me. If I'm confident, if I start thinking it's me, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
This don't even make, some of the stuff don't even make sense. Some of the stuff about your career don't even make sense, right? I never said one time in this interview I was a businessman. I don't understand how to come to an office space, lease it out, build it out, sell it, market it. That's not me.
Yeah.
But I understand what I'm good at doing. And God says, man, you 20 plus years, you've never lost, right? And for me, at this point in my career, yeah, it's cool to be on the mic and have your name on the show and all of that. But how many people can I build under this umbrella?
Yeah.
That's where my faith is. Like, I'm like, thank you, God, for giving me the skill set, the opportunity, and the longevity to do this. Now, come one, come all, pick the brain, ask the questions, come clean on, and do you.
Yeah.
And I feel like at the end of the day, when I tell people represent the kingdom and represent the kingdom well, that's a good way to do it, right? So, yeah, bring as many people as I can and let people say, yo, I learned from Marcus. I learned at Marcus Studio, or I watched Marcus, and I asked the question. I'm like, cool. Like, steal it, use it. And at the end of the day, I'm good with that. Because what's for me is for me. Right? So,
man, I love it, man. I'm going to steal like an artist.
I stole from J-Mac, stole from Anthony Valerie, I stole from Mark Fisher. Sorry, guys.
Hey, man, we all borrowing from somebody, man. Ain't nothing new under the sun.
None of
You know
this.
what I'm saying? So I'm not even going to sit here and act like I'm the most ingenuitive person on the planet, man. Do me a favor, bro. Like, tell people out there how we can stay tapped in, locked in with you, where we can rock with you on a daily basis, because you're putting out content like crazy.
And it's going to be more.
Yes.
Check out the space now, right? Social media, of course, that's where everybody is. At Marcus Sullivan Live. On Instagram, on Snapchat, on TikTok, and I am TikToking, but I ain't dancing. I'm not dancing, but I'm at Marcus Sullivan Live. Twitter, Facebook is just Marcus Sullivan. So that takes, YouTube is BlessedBeatz, right? And you mentioned it a few times in there. BlessedBeatz is the one radio show that I birthed out of the gift in my attempt to be a businessman, and it just turned 6 years old, right? And it's a national show, and I own it, right? And so that's my gift to myself as far as building my own brand outside of just giving and lending. But the BlessedBeatz show, and Beats is always spelled with a Z, B-E-A-T-Z, BlessedBeatz.com. My morning show, NGEN Radio, N-G-E-N Radio, N-G-E-N Radio, which I'm so thankful because I never applied for that job. Real talk, I never applied for that job, and that's my dream job. Not one application. That's another crazy. That's not one application, and I got my dream job. And
we
then
ain't in a hurry.
I'll just tell you that real quick.
Listen,
just real quick.
that's the story right there, bro. Like, you holding out,
bro. My dream job came. Listen, anybody who has a dream
Come
job,
on.
I never applied for, not online, not in paper, didn't walk in the office, and I sit in the chair called Marcus in the Morning, Monday through Friday. When I started radio on 9/11, the goal was to have a morning show.
Yeah.
And I do that. Never applied. I ended up I was at the hip hop station, 93.7 The Beat, make this story fast, talking to the program director at the time at NGEN Radio because I started being more in the faith.
Yep.
93.7 The Beat is a hip hop station, and I wanted
You was killing it. You was doing all the interviews with like Lecrae,
Oh,
and everybody
yeah.
was coming through.
Right.
Like,
And so that's the Christian part of it. And so they was just like, what it looks like if you come over here, right? And I was like, I don't know what it looked like. And so I applied for the afternoon job, thinking a morning show is my dream job. That's too big right now.
yep. And they already had somebody there too at the time. Yeah.
Right. And I was like, that's the dream. That's the goal. Maybe if I start over here, maybe if I apply for the closet job, I can work my way, boom. And I had a 6-hour interview. 6 of these podcast interviews, right?
Shoot.
And a month later, they called and told me no. Right? A year later, they called me back and told me to interview for the afternoon job again. 4 hours. Same people I'm interviewing with. What you gonna get different out of me in 4 that you didn't get out of them 6 a year? I don't know. A month goes by and they called me and told me no. Then they said, well, before you hang up, God told us that you're not our afternoon job, you are our morning show job. That's why I tell people I never apply for that. I did not. I go in the interview and I ain't gonna say I killed the interview, but 10 hours of questioning. That's interrogation, bro.
Yes, bro. Like,
And
did you have a lawyer present?
You know, right? But I never applied for that. And God would have it like, nah, you interviewing for something bigger. Where's your face? You know what I mean? And I honor, and that's why I still honor NGEN to this day. I honor that, fulfilling my dream job role and giving it excellence daily. I'd have been on the air horse. Like, I'm gonna give all of this because God gave me this.
Yeah.
Right? I never applied. You didn't apply for this. So she who's listening, keep going for that dream. You are good enough. Just be ready. Prepare yourself. Be ready. But that's your story, bro.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Well, I know we got to roll. I've had similar experiences where, man, I took a class project, and turned it into a multi-million-dollar business. You know, DJS Entertainment was a class project.
No
bro.
way.
It was, in college. It was
a project.
It was a project. And I go to schools all the time and I tell students, I say, you never know if this project, this Spanish project, this English project could be a book.
Bro, you did this for a grade.
I did it for a grade. And then lo and behold, like everybody in college is getting married. So I became the wedding DJ.
There you go.
You know, and then we added on extra things in there. But yeah, it was the business that now pays the bills, not just my bills, but other people's bills. We got employees and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, it was a class. It was, and I don't even think I got an A. No, I'm sure.
Bro, I'm gonna say F, but look what it did.
I did excel on that project. It was my professor who was like, "Hey, you really should pursue this." I was like, "All right, bet." Wow. So all my students out there, you never know.
Never know.
You never know. Give it your all. Work at everything enthusiastically as if you are working unto the Lord. Yeah. Because you never know what that opportunity is gonna open up in your case. Yeah. So, bro, I appreciate you, dog.
My guy.
Man, it's going down.
Yeah, for sure.
Marcus in the mornings.
Yeah.
It's going down. Right now, it's Marcus in the afternoon. The BlessedBeatz studio is about to be on and popping. Make sure y'all tap in every single day on NGEN Radio. Download the app. It is going down.
Thank you, sir.
Love you, man.